Alright, so today I'm going to be arguing that PCs are better than consoles for gaming, so I'm the affirmative. The rise of power for personal computers, or better known as PCs, have sparked recent controversy as many compare them to consoles such as Xbox One or PS5. In my argument, I'll be arguing that there's an abundant amount of better aspects to PCs when it comes to gaming, and that the argument of the two being compared should not even be relevant. I will lay out three very clear and valid reasons, including performance, price with liability, and exclusive games. The first point I will be arguing is that PCs are able to perform a lot better than consoles. The first notable reason for my argument is that computers have been made, to withstand higher quality resolution, and PCs have a lot more newer technology than consoles, so they're able to run games at like 4K, 144 FPS or frames per second. Now, refuting my opponent's argument that consoles can still run a high quality, it's just not true. They run at max 120 when most or majority run around 60 frames per second, which is drastically lower. So, in computers, the components or parts are more advanced and simply higher quality than those that make up a console. Now, have you ever noticed that the color display can sometimes see a little off, or the resolution is a little blurry on a computer? Now, if you're looking to change that, luckily, because you have a PC, you are able to. PCs are very adaptable and adjustable. You can go to the settings and change how the mouse works or clicks, adjust the audio base, or even adjust the graphic displays to meet the computer's hardware needs. But if you were to try these resolution or adjusting the audio frequency on a console, you would simply just fall short in both of the two and everything in between. It is very clear from a performance aspect that PCs and consoles do not match up even in the slightest, as PCs clearly override them. Moving on to my second point of my argument, price and cost, or price and liability. Oftentimes, if you were to take off the cover of a PC, you would find a lot of parts that, look very expensive. And the answer to that is most likely many of them are on the pricier side in comparison to a console at the time. Although, combine them all together, you would get around $1,000 worth of parts or metal scraps. And looking at a console's price, when you first get it, like a PS5, is around $500 to $600. And it seems only rational at that point to get a PS5, which obviously seems cheaper. Now the thought is, why get a PC when you can get a console for about half the price? But it is important to remember all the additional factors, the biggest being liability. If one part breaks in the PS5 or whatever console you're using, maybe say the driver breaks, the entire console will not work. Not at all. And any piece of the component of the console is irreplaceable, which is completely the opposite for computers, which you can adjust nearly every single part inside. And so the difference in cost at the start may seem, worrisome, but over time it adds up. And so choosing a PC instead is a smarter investment long term. My final point that I'll be arguing is that there's a diversity in games. The main reason PCs are bought in the first place is to play video games. Whether it is a single or multiplayer games, anything has become a game at this point. A huge advantage PCs have over consoles is a large catalog in games. Computers are able to run just about any game. Many games are exclusive to PC players due to the hardware needs to run them. A console's catalog of games is only a few hundred, which is literally every console having a different game set due to branding. And so, for example, the very popular game Halo, I don't know if any of you guys know, it is only exclusive to Xbox because it is owned by Microsoft. This means that anyone with a PlayStation is not able to play it. Another underlying fact is the game distribution between consoles is weak compared to those in the PC department. Games on the Xbox Store or PlayStation Store almost all cost money, opposed to many games on PC that are that are very cheap or free. Games on things such as Steam or Riot or Epic Games that all are on a computer are not on any consoles. The limitations on what games are playable for console players is very real and definitely probably a threat to them. But instead, PC players, it isn't a worry. It's not even a consideration for them. So to wrap this up, the 3 points I brought up in this argument are very valuable factors for what makes a PC better than a console. People see consoles for the cheap price, but in reality, they're just cheaply made devices that are unreliable and overpriced, opposed to a well-functioning PC where any game is offered with the click of a button and endless hours to play. Overall, these are the reasons to why PCs as a whole are better long-term for gaming. Thank you.